students can ride the bus here or drive themselves. It's up to them. We have buses that leave from both high schools. We have students here at the College and Career Center from Lawrence High, Free State High School, and from the Lawrence Virtual School. So this is a campus. It's integrated in as well with the Peaslee Center, which is next door to us. Some of our students come here, they check in each day, and then they head over to the Peaslee Center for courses in HVAC, construction, industrial technology. So there's lots of different options here. It's not just this building, but the building next door called the Peaslee Center. We have classes, a lot of different types of classes. Forensic science is a really popular course here, so we have a biology lab here that they can do a lot of that type of stuff. We'll just walk in here. So this is our bio lab. It wasn't a program we initially planned on doing, but when construction moved over to the Peaslee Center, we could use this space. It looks a little different than a typical science lab in that we don't have Bunsen burners and sinks and fixed stations around the room. All of the furniture in the College and Career Center is portable, so we can change how we do things. So our sinks are along the walls. We can roll tables over to them. We have that neat one-way mirror in there for doing some observations and things like that. So lots of different opportunities for this room. Very flexible. We teach college courses in here in the evening. You know, lots of cool tools in here. You know, this is our prep room for forensic science. So we have a big hood and lots of tools that, you know, sometimes are difficult to afford at 2 high schools, but because we're here, we can. So this is our health science lab. We have great health science programs in our high schools, but one thing we were challenged in doing was providing application level experiences, so opportunities for students to work in real world settings with the knowledge that they gained in their high school classes. Obviously this room isn't one we typically would have at a high school, and so we wanted to make sure that our students had that opportunity. This is for our CNA and CMA classes. We offer them in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. Students will be having an opportunity, well, it's not an opportunity, they're required to go, for clinicals at nursing homes and elderly care facilities. It's a great opportunity. Many of our students will have jobs before they're done with the program here locally. In preparation for future programming, across the hall we have some exam rooms and also a training restroom that we can use for classes that are higher up in that level. So one of the things we talked about with our teachers and our students was to make sure that we thought of classrooms as being resources and flexible. So none of our teachers use their classroom as their office. So we provide office space. We have about 17 teachers who teach out here at a different number of different levels, community college teachers, high school teachers, just a large group of people. So we wanted to make sure we had landing spaces for offices, so we can see that. And that's right in here. We have private offices for teachers to talk to students or make phone calls. And then we have open offices for teachers to land. So they may come in just for a few hours. They need a spot to sort of check their email, check in on some paperwork, and then they head out. Because of those flexible classrooms, we use digital signage quite a bit around here. And it shows students where their classes are going to be. So they come in each day, they look at the screen, they can see where their classes are going to meet, and they head to those rooms. We have a number of different types of learning spaces, and this is a good spot to see all of them. We have a more flexible space with different types of furniture, and We encourage the students to set up and the teachers to set up the furniture in a way that works for their learning. So sometimes they might like to meet in a group of 4, sometimes they want to set it up where it's sort of more of a presentation style. We also have distance learning classrooms here, so if we want to connect with somebody through the internet, we have a student whose sister has designed a robotic system out in Abu Dhabi. They can connect with her with some cameras and things like that in our distance learning room. And then we have some spaces that are a little non-traditional where students, maybe they've had a lecture and now they need to do some work individually. They can come to these different spaces, take advantage of the natural light and see what's available. Lots of technology here. We have all our laptop computers in one place, wanting to make sure that we have access to all different types. So we have MacBooks, we have Chromebooks, we have Dells, we have iPads, all those things to make sure that whatever tool is right for discovering what's next for them is available. I don't know if you can see out there, but it's a good example of our project-based learning. This is our forensic science class. And they've created what's called a meat garden. So one of the things you need to study in forensic science is the age of bugs and the entomology that happens when flesh decomposes. So we've created a number of these sort of test areas, and each one of them has a pig's head, either buried or in water or covered. And the students are sort of examining what's happening to that flesh when the bugs take over and as it decomposes. So it's a real life learning situation happening, and it's right out our back door here. The space we're in here, we call the yard, and it's sort of a common meeting space. We have a lot of business and industry groups who come work with us. In return, and as a thank you, we open this space up to them so that they can have meetings or things like that. We have a number of groups who just meet here on a regular basis, school district groups, community groups. We wanted to make sure we had a common space. On either side of that space are these glass garage doors, so we can open up our classrooms and roll out into here if we need that extra space. So this is what we call our mech lab. We do some robotics. We have CAD stations in here, all kinds of different computers. Our goal in the center was to be able to tell students that anything they could dream up, they could build while they're here. So you may design it in here, but in the back room back there, there's some pretty specialized tools for working with metals or working with wood. We have a CNC router here and a CNC mill. A CNC is computer numerically controlled, so you design it on a computer, and the computer tells the machine how it wants it to cut it or shape it, and you can take it over to the machines and it'll do it. We have a laser cutter here, just some pretty unique tools, 3D printing tools that we don't necessarily have at our high schools, but students who come out here can definitely use it. So we teach networking and IT courses here. Students may be interested in programming, they may be interested in hardware, they may be interested in networking. They're all interested in computer support in some way. We use this room for that as well as for any other computer project that we're working on. So it could be digital design, it could be robotics. The room is set up so that students can work in teams. They also have some hardware stations over here and lots of abilities to show their work on digital screens and share it with each other. So students call this room the cave. They got to name all of the rooms on the second day of school. This is our one room that doesn't have windows, so we call this one the cave. We have some traditional classrooms. We think that lecture is just as important as Some of the other types of learning we do here, this is set up like a traditional classroom. And we teach EMS in here each day, Emergency Medical Service. Johnson County teaches that course. We also have a lot of evening classes in here. So pretty typical type classroom. So one of the things we wanted to make sure that our students had the opportunity to try is what's called design thinking and design build, which gives students the opportunity to come up with an idea, research it, prototype it, and present it. And so we worked with the Sprint Accelerator in Kansas City, the D School at Stanford, and some other places as well, to say, what would that look like if we could design a space? And those are becoming more and more common. The room right behind you here with the glass and the whiteboard tables and the whiteboard walls in here is what we would call an ideation lab, and where students can just spend a lot of time trying to come up with ideas. This space that we're in right here is a research lab. So once you sort of figure out what you want, you can use the computers, you can work as teams to sort of put together your ideas and say, oh, will this work? Maybe we need to do a little more research on that. What's the cost of it? And then over here is our prototyping lab. And so students have the opportunity to have workspaces that they can actually prototype their designs. We have 3D printing in here, but it's a lot of cardboard and construction paper that happens in here as we try to bring ideas to life. And then finally, we can go over to this room and present our ideas to our peers. And that's the one we saw. Okay, so there's some pictures here. Currently, the Boys and Girls Club of Lawrence is fundraising to add a building next to ours, which could expand our programming in culinary and teaching and training and some of those things. They need to raise about $5 million to get there. They're on their way to doing that. But that space would go out there. It would be a great partnership and give our younger students an opportunity to see this space, work in this space before taking classes here as a junior or senior. I think it's been a great addition. It wasn't without some convincing of people to understand what we're trying to do out here and giving opportunities, more opportunities to our students at an application level for career and technical education. We really try to be project-based out here. And so students have a lot of opportunities for hands-on learning. That doesn't mean we don't have them at the high schools, but we really try to make sure that that's a big part of our classes. We really try to get business and industry involved, and we really want to make sure that our students have an opportunity to explore whatever is next for them in college and a career. Our biggest challenges will continue throughout as we look to make sure that the instruction that we're providing, the curriculum we're providing, is meeting our students' needs and preparing them for whatever comes next for them. Sometimes that takes time as we sort of discover, oh, that worked and that didn't work. We really want to be entrepreneurial out here and try things with students that maybe are a little more difficult to try in our high schools. So like we have a new attendance system and we do that. And so sometimes we have little technology glitches, but for the most part, our staff and our students have been real receptive to being forward thinking and trying new things.